Welcome to CQ Blind Hams, your source for everything amateur-related, tutorials, radio reviews, and so much more. Come on in and stay a while.
Hello everybody, this is John, KD8PC, and I'm finally getting around to doing the demo and tutorial, if you will, of the Yaesu FTM100DR radio. It is probably the most blind-friendly radio out there for fusion. The FTM400, which has a few more bells and whistles, I think also has the speech chip, so and it probably does everything this one does. But this radio, for the price, it's a good dual band radio, regardless whether it has fusion or not. I have friends that have bought them just because they wanted a good dual band mobile, and everything else is over $400. You can get these for around $309 nowadays from HRO and places like that. So anyway, let's describe the radio first, and hopefully I have all the buttons memorized properly. There's two knobs, one on the right and one on the left, with a button above each knob, and then 8 buttons in between. The buttons are separated by, I don't know if they're lights. I don't think so, because there's one between the first and second button, and there's one between the seventh and eighth. So I think they're just raised things, but they make it real easy to find the buttons. So we start with the power button, and I'm going to shut the radio off. Now, when I turn it on, you will hear my call sign and name spoken, because that's been put in the radio, which you want to do for fusion. If you don't, the radio will just show Yaesu when you transmit. So here we go. I'll turn it on.
KD8PC-JOHN.
There you go. So the radio is on now, and the power button is also a lock button. When your radio is turned on, you just press it momentarily, and the radio is now locked. You can't change anything. Push it again, back to the default of off. And that is true with most of the functions. The defaults have a lower beep, which is real nice. And that also holds true when you're in the menus and you setting something like a PL, for example. The default PL setting is 100 Hertz. When you get to that, as you're selecting, with the selector knob, you'll get a beep. So that makes the radio a lot more user-friendly. So, of course, the volume controller is right underneath that, and we'll start going to the right. The first button is your band button. It basically takes you from VFO A to VFO B, and you have 500 memories on each side in A and 500 in B. So there's no shortage of memories in this thing. So it will speak when I press it. It will switch to A.
B. Memory 0064448.275.
There you go. And I'll go back to A.
A. Memory 019.146.660.
Typically people use, the A band for VHF and the B band for UHF, but you don't have to. You can mix and match. I have VHF channels and UHF channels in both sides. So I'm going to go back to
B,
because I know where
memory 00.
Okay, shut her up by hitting the push to talk there. Of course, by doing that, I also chunked the fusion repeater, and I'll get to that in a minute. And you heard that high beep. So that's your band button. The next is your power, and it just low, medium, high. And so very easy to tell what your power setting is. The next is VFO/memory, and it's also used to write to memory. And it will speak
VFO 147.110.
Okay, and of course I can turn the knob and go up. Now it should say
VFO 147.120.
So it goes in 5 kilohertz steps. But it only speaks when you... There's no way to actually just make it speak. They say there is, but it doesn't work. So I don't know. But anyway, and go to memory.
Memory 0064448.275.
So you see, I've mixed and matched. My VFO is in VHF, but I'm on a memory channel in UHF. So it doesn't matter which band you use. So that's the third button. Your fourth button is your mode button, and it also beeps at the default, which is AMR. AMR is automatic mode something or other. And basically what it does is when you're in AMR and the radio hears a fusion signal, it will switch to fusion. If it hears an analog signal, it will switch back to regular FM. So right now I'm in there. Now I am in that low beep says I am in AMR. Now I am in digital narrow, and I'll explain that in just a second. Digital wide, FM, and of course I can open the squelch with the button on the mic. So yeah, we're definitely in FM. It would not do that if I was in digital. And back to AMR. And of course, if I open the squelch now, it thinks it's in fusion, so it's not going to open with this, but with the button on the mic, which I'll get to after I finish with the radio. Okay, that's the mode button. It also is the way you get into Wires X, and I'll be showing you that in a bit as well. The next button is your group monitor. And basically what the group monitor is I've been told it's better not to do it on a repeater, because what happens is if you're in group monitor, it will send your call sign out every, I don't know how often, if it's every 30 seconds or whatever, to let other people in the group know that you are on frequency. So you're always sending out your call sign, which could get annoying on a repeater, I guess, but you don't really hear anything. You hear a beep and the call sign pops up on the display, but you are constantly chunking the repeater. So for that reason, I guess they claimed that you should do it just on simplex. The next button is squelch / digital voice or something, and that's what I was saying. They told you you're supposed to be able to press and hold it and get your voice announcement, but it does not do that. But however, it's how you set your squelch. Let's go into analog mode. And let me make sure I'm there. Nope. Now we are. Okay, now I'm in analog mode. I can use the third button from the right, which is the fifth button we're talking about. And now I can turn the knob and turn it all the way to the left. And oh, it defaults to it, stays there. I can keep turning it. It does not wrap. So turn it all the way to the left and then up one click. And I set the squelch to the first setting past open. And if I need to set it further, I can turn it to the right more. So that's how you set the squelch on this radio. Very easy. The next button, which will be the second from the right, is just marked back. And apparently it's used when you're in a menu setting and you want to back out of that setting and go back one level. You use that button. And the very last button, well, it does several things, but one of the main things it does is go into the settings mode, what they call settings. It basically puts you in your menus, and you press and hold it to do that. And the menus do not wrap, as I said, so you can turn the knob all the way to the left, you know you're on 1, and say you need to go up to 4, you just, turn the knob 3 times. And that works pretty well. I've set PLs. I've turned up the volume of the key beeps without any sighted assistance. One thing I had trouble with, because you had to go up to number 11. And, these type of controls tend to skip when you're rotating them. Sometimes they'll skip over a number. So I kept trying to get this setting and couldn't get it. So a friend of mine came over and he watched me do it. And he says, oh, yeah, you're jumping past, you're on 12, not 11 or something like that. So anyway, I wanted to change one of the function keys on the mic, because this radio does not have a dedicated reverse button. So I turned what is normally the home button on the mic, which I never use, so I made it my reverse button. So I now have reverse capability when I'm on a repeater. So anyway, the only thing I needed help with. Entering frequencies, of course, you can do from the keypad on the mic. You can enter memory numbers. Like right now, I'm in memory, I'm on 6. Say I want to go to memory 2, I would just simply press 002.
002.
And you get that long beep, and I am now on, if I were to do a quick check.
Memory 002. 145.575.
And that, again, I'm on band B, and it's tucked in with a lot of UHF channels. So, as you can see, it doesn't matter. So, I'm going to go to 004.
004.
I'm now on 004, which is...
Memory 004. 440.375.
Which is the repeater I want to be on, because I'm going to show you how easy it is to get into wires X here in a minute. So anyway, the only other button I haven't mentioned on the radio is above the selector knob on the right hand side, and it steps you in 1 megahertz steps. It switches to 1 megahertz steps if you're in VFO. Let's go to VFO.
VFO 147.120.
And if I push it once,
VFO 440.375.
no, it's
VFO 147.120.
no, okay. It switches between two. I think there are 2 VFOs in both bands as well. And that's what it does. If you push and hold it, now I'm going to turn the knob once to the left, and then push and hold again. Whoop, okay, and now I should be in
VFO 146.120.
Yeah, so see, I can jump in 1 megahertz steps, which makes it nice. If you want to get up to, say, 162.55, but you don't want to punch it in on the keypad, or if you want to, tune around up there, but so you can get easily up to 162 just by going into the megahertz and turning the knob. So there you go. That's the radio itself. On the back, you have the antenna connector to the far right if you're reaching back behind the radio. Then a fan, and then the power cord, which is a pigtail about 6 inches long for the power connector. And a DIN connector just below that, which is for the cable that's supplied with the radio when you want to program it using their software or using Archie Systems software, which costs $50, but is very doable with NVDA. I'm not sure about JAWS, but I know it works really well with NVDA. I haven't messed with that much, but it is doable. But I generally program what I want by hand. I'm not interested in putting in a lot of frequencies at one time. Anyway, and then to the far left is your speaker jack. And they tell you in the manual, if you're going to use a mono plug, in other words, just 2-circuit tip and sleeve, to use the supplied adapter. Because apparently this plug is also used for some other things, I think for cloning purposes or updating the radio or something. They tell you not to use a mono plug in there without the adapter. So since my speaker has a mono plug, I do have the adapter in there. It's just a short thing with a stereo male on the one end and the mono female on the other. So there you go. Alright, that's the radio. Now to the microphone. You have your standard keypad, 123A, 456B, 789C, *0# D. The A, B, C, and D buttons do something, but I don't remember what because I don't use them. I think they switch you to VFO or switch bands or do something. I haven't played much with them. But let's see, we can hit A.
A. Memory 019.146.660. B. VFO 146.120.
Okay, so your A key is your band button. It's the same thing as the very first key on the left-hand side of the radio. And I should point out, if you notice, the speech was lower when I switched to the... that's because band A is in fusion mode right now, and band B is in VFO mode. The channels do not remember your mode. I guess a lot of the other radios and the Yaesu HT that everybody is getting, because it's $159, it's the FT70DR, one hell of a deal. Anyway, they remember your mode apparently, but this radio does not. So as you switch frequencies or switch memory channels, you need to know where you're at. Need to be in the proper mode. And if you're in AMR, of course, the radio will switch to whatever it hears. So that's what A does. And let's see what B does.
A. Memory 01914.660.
Okay, it switched me back to A.
B. VFO
It seems to do the same.
146.120.
Okay, I guess you can reassign these, but right now it does exactly the same thing that A does. How about C? Okay, I'm not sure what C is doing. And then we have D. D seems to be power, but that is interesting. Let's just see here. Let's go to low power. No, I don't know what D is doing. Then you had the function keys I talked about, 1, 2, 3, and 4. The first one opens your squelch. It's like a monitor button, but it's a toggle. You don't hold it. So you can push it again to close the squelch. So that's the F1 key. Between that and the next one, just a little lower, is a big round button. And that is, by default, your home button. I reassigned that to be my reverse. And it beeps high when you push it, and push it again, beeps low to back to default to turn off reverse. The 3, which is back up a little bit and to the right, is your mode. Just like on the radio. I'm back in AMR, digital narrow, digital wide, and FM, or analog. To the right of that is the power, and that's the same as the power on the radio. I'm on high, low, medium, high. So those are the buttons on the mic. There's also 2 switches on the right side of the mic. One of them locks all the keys on the mic, and the other one turns a backlight on and off. And of course your normal push to talk. That's the description pretty much. Now a couple of explanations. Digital narrow and digital wide. Fusion works in 2 ways. In digital narrow, it uses half of the allotted channel, 12.5 kilohertz, for your digital voice. It uses the other half of the channel for data, such as GPS data that you're sending if you were set up to do that. Unfortunately, I'm only seeing one satellite from here, so nobody sees my GPS data on their radio. All they see is my call sign and first name. So you can enter in your GPS data if you want to, but I haven't bothered to do that. Maybe I will after I get back from Michigan, but I figure when I'm in Michigan, I'm hoping I'll get a better GPS signal and people will be able to see it. So in digital wide, you use the whole 12.5 kilohertz for digital voice, and it is a little better sounding, but it's a trade-off, and I guess the norm is to operate narrow so that you can send the digital data and all that stuff. So that's the deal with digital narrow and wide. One thing I'd also like to mention is you have noticed and will notice that when you're in fusion mode, when stations drop, I hear a beep. It's my radio doing that, not the station, or not the repeater. And I also hear it when I'm on a repeater and ion key. If I'm on simplex, of course, I'm not going to hear that. But that is the indicator that the station has dropped. And I can also tell that I'm hitting the repeater because of that beep that comes back to me when I unkey. Before I leave the radio and its functions completely and talk about some of the fusion aspects, such as wires X, I want to show you how easy it is to put a memory in. And also, I just discovered something very unique. This radio covers 137 to 174, apparently 200 to 300 and 300 to 512 or 470 or something. It covers the 220 band on receive, and I'll show you something really interesting about that. But before I do that, let's put a frequency in memory. Now, without being able to see the dial, you can't really choose your memory channel. You can if it's close enough to something you're in. Otherwise, it puts it in the next available memory. So my next available memory here on band A is 24 or 024. I'm going to enter in 147.24, which is a repeater.
147.240.
There we go. And
welcome to this ARA repeater and open auto patch S2.
okay, that's an analog repeater, and the PL is already set on this band to 162.2, so it's all ready to go. Now I want to put that in memory. All I need to do is press and hold the third button from the left, which is, remember, is the V/M and MW. Now all I have to do is press the far right button, just tap it, not hold it. And now we're in
memory 024.147.240.
There we go. Now, here's the interesting thing. I entered 224.36 into memory 23. But if I go back with one click of the knob, I am now on
memory 022.147.220.
It skipped right over 23. I cannot select that with the knob. However, I can
023.
And now I'm on
memory 023.224.460.
How about that? It's in my memories. I can get to it by selecting it with the mic, but by turning the knob, I will not get there. Very interesting. I don't know about the up-down buttons on the mic. Let's see if I hit the push to talk, which of course will not transmit. So I get that. Now, let's see. I just dropped down one. Whoop.
Memory 022.147.220.
And let's...
memory 024.
Nope.
147.240.
Just like on the knob. And I did forget when I was describing the mic, on the top of the mic is the up and down. Up on the right, down on the left. So those are the two buttons I forgot to mention. So that's how easy it is to put in a frequency into memory. Now, I want to put 146.52 in, channel 52. And I think I can do it. It may not be 52 when we get done because of the knob and, you know, its ability to skip numbers as you're clicking. But let's give it a try. Let's go back to VFO.
VFO 147.240.
Let's type in
146.52.
Program called the client program.
Okay, we got activity on that frequency.
FORB.
So let's press and hold the memory.
RCFORB.
And count.
Yeah, like forward.
I'm going to turn the volume down here while I count. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50. 1, 2. And press the
C4.
So,
Play Store. But
let's
it will
see
not
what memory
serve
channel
us
this
with
landed on.
programs for using your phone. Otherwise, they're free.
The memory 053. 146.520.
So because of the knob skipping, I put it in 53 instead of 52. But it's somewhat capable of doing that, but only somewhat. So that is how you enter memories. It's doable. A little awkward if you don't want to just put them in sequentially. They'll go in sequentially, no problem. If you don't turn the knob at all, it'll go in the next open slot, no matter where you are. Even if you're in 001, like if I put something in now, it would go in 025, I think. Though now that I don't know, because there's a couple of open slots between 22 and 19. So it might go on 020. It might find the open slot before. Not sure of that. Anyway, now let's talk about Wires X. Wires X is Yaesu's protocol for sending data over the internet, like Echolink, or they have an older protocol called Wires. And Wires and Wires X are not compatible, though some fusion repeaters have Wires on them, not Wires X. But Wires is something the operator sets up, and you know, when you are on that repeater, if it has a Wires connection, that's what you are on. Here's the Wires connection that is set up. Wires X is a whole new ball game. Wires X has nodes and rooms, and basically the difference between a node and a room is a node can accept only one connection, where a room can accept many connections at once. That is my understanding of what the difference is. And if you get on a repeater that already has a Wires X connection made, then you need do nothing. You just talk on it like you would if you were just talking locally. However, if you want to make a Wires X connection, you need to go into Wires X mode. In order to do that, you press and hold the mode key, and you will hear a beep followed by a high-pitched beep. When you do that, if the repeater or simplex link you're on, Wires X is there and it's working, you will hear 4 ascending tones. And that tells you that you are in Wires X mode, that you've connected to a Wires X connection. Then a sighted person can scroll through the display and select the room that they want. Of course, we have to know the node number or room number. Once you know the node number, you can press and hold the pound key, type in your 5-digit number and press pound again momentarily. And if you are successful with the connection, you'll get 4 ascending beeps again. Then you take the radio out of Wires X by pressing and holding the mode key and talk normally. So I'm going to go into Wires X mode now. Okay, we are now in Wires X. I can now press the pound key and hold it. Press in 40806 and press the pound key. Okay, and my phone was talking, so you did not hear the ascending beeps, but I now am connected to room 40806, which is a room in Kentucky. And let's see if Ron, K8HSY, is around. K8HSY, are you around, Ron? KD8PC. Possibly not. KD8HSY, KD8HSY, KD8PC in Arizona calling. Okay, apparently Ron's not around. I can't remember his son's call, but he would have answered anyway if he was listening. So apparently neither one of them are around. So let me just put out a general call real quick. This is KD8PC in Apache Junction, Arizona. Anyone on frequency for a short Fusion Wires X demo, KD8PC.
K4ULE, go ahead.
Yeah, good morning. I didn't catch the call. This is KD8PC. My name is John in Apache Junction, Arizona. And I'm recording a demo of Fusion and of Wires X. So, good morning. Give me a call again, please. And what's the name?
Roger, the call is Kilo 4, Uniform, Lima, Echo. The name is Jerry, and we're just south of Dawson Springs, Kentucky, which is it's in the western portion of the state.
Okay, Jerry, very good. Oh, I'm in Apache Junction, which is about 35 miles east of Phoenix. The repeater I'm using is on South Mountain, which is right in the I guess southeastern part of Phoenix. I'm probably about 30 miles from the repeater. And you sound very good, so thanks for the comeback. Go ahead.
Oh, Roger. Yeah, you're sounding good here. I'm using the local repeater. I don't know exactly how far it is, probably about 20 miles away from me, where I'm at in Princeton, Kentucky. I don't know whether, I guess that may be the one the room you're in. I don't know. There's usually anywhere from 12 to 15, 16 nodes to hook to it at any one time, so there's a lot of ways to get to it.
Yeah, I've connected to, what is it, 40806, I think, is the node number that I connected to. I'm good for, I don't know if you know Ron Cade, HSY, friends with Ron, and so I was kind of hoping he'd be around to help show off Wires X this morning, but thanks for the comeback.
Ron, he's usually hanging around here. I'm surprised he's on here right now. He's usually here. He may pop in here at any time, though he may be working some major stuff. Well, I'm on a crooked road around this lake over here. I'm doing a little sightseeing around this lake, and boy, it's I run out of road.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, I called him the other night, and I don't know what's it. Well, morning, I guess. And I got Mike, his son, and he called him on the landline, and he was in the middle of something. I think he was in the middle of operating a CW contest. Hi. So, anyway, well, very good, Jerry. I appreciate the comeback and letting me let people hear what Fusion and Wires X sounds like. And you have yourself a good day over there. K4ULE, I think it was KD8PC.
All right, Don. You have a good day. Yep. Done some of that myself. People are just amazed at what it will do. We also have a echo link into this repeater, into this room from W4 IoT. If you would into his FTM on Echo link, you can also connect to this repeater. So, just a little tidbit of information there for you. You have a good day. 73. K4ULE.
Well, thanks for that, Jerry. I'll try to remember that, W4 IOP. I also run a 24-hour link, KD8PC-L. Or if you want to punch in the node number, it's 91232. So feel free to anytime to connect and say hi. So have a good one. I take it's your mobile there to talk about the road. So hope Hope you stay safe there. 7-3 KD8PC.
Roger, Con. Yep, we are mobile. Now, just doing a little sightseeing places. You live here for 50 years and never been on this road, so just out looking around. And that call is Whiskey 4 India Oscar Delta IOP 73 K4 ULA.
Okay, very good. Thanks for the correction, and I'll have to make a shortcut to that. I normally run my Echolink on 223.4 simplex. Right now, I've been having an issue with my 220 radio getting into my Wi-Fi router, so right now I've got it up on 446 simplex on an indoor antenna, just for around the house, around the neighborhood. I actually get several blocks with it, no problem, but even from the radio with just a ducky antenna on it. But anyway, I'm about the only one that uses it anyway. But very good. Thanks, Jerry. 7-3. Careful on that road, and you have a good day. This is KD8PC. To disconnect from a node or a room, you go into Wires X by pressing and holding the mode key. After the 4 ascending beeps, you press and hold the pound key and press 99999 and press pound. You will then hear 4 more ascending beeps at a lower pitch, and that will tell you that you are disconnected from the room. Okay, now I'm going to go back into Wires X mode and disconnect from this mode. Okay, now we're back in Wires X. Okay, that last set of ascending tones told me that I am now disconnected from that node. And I can get out of Wires X mode. So there you go. I've managed to make a contact on Wires X. And I'm now going to let you hear a little audio that I recorded earlier as I was doing the original recording of this demo. And a bunch of it, including the Wires X contact, did not get recorded. But I do have a little bit of audio with a friend, and it lets you hear the difference between FM and Fusion. And it lets you hear the difference between digital narrow and digital wide. So I will now insert part of that QSO from the other night, and we'll wrap this up. So anyway, thanks, Ron. We'll switch back to digital for a couple more words here, and then we'll let you go.
All right, very good, John. We'll catch you back on digital. AJ7T.
Okay, AJ7T, KD8PC, back on Fusion.
Yep, very good. And yes, it is just so much easier to understand, and it's so much clearer. I agree. It's just nice. But it's also nice to have both modes available.
Oh, definitely. One other thing, I take it you're on narrow now. Let's go to wide and show them the difference between narrow and wide audio.
Okay, you whenever you want, and I'll be there.
Okay, I should be on wide now. AJ7T, KD8PC.
It's always impressive how much understanding you have of that radio. I don't know how you do all that, but good power to you. Yes, so we are on voice wide. A little bit of difference. We find most of the time that the voice wide isn't really that beneficial. We would rather have the call signs and the distance, location, and all that kind of stuff. So we usually normally run it in narrow, but wide is also another third option. AJ7T.
Yeah, very good. Yep, it's a little bit, has a little bit more range, frequency response, but and maybe sounds. I guess the way to put it is it has less digital artifacts, but it's still. It's just phenomenal on narrow, and there's no need to run wide, in my opinion, either. So, all right, let me switch back. Okay, we're back on narrow. So, I think this will be a great demo for folks, and maybe I'll entice some folks into getting Fusion radios. I wasn't able to connect with my friend Ron, who is on the Blind Hams list. However, I did talk to his son, so that's the next best thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's another thing that I've noticed too, is people that are new to digital tell a difference more than us that when we've been using it a lot. And I think your ear just kind of gets used to it, and it's the sound that you kind of expect to hear. Because I also have found that back in the old days, I really did, think that it was a digital type sounding voice, even though it was a pretty good quality compared to some of the other modes. So I thought Fusion did a good job. But now, yeah, I agree with you. I am so used to digital, and I've heard it so much that everything else doesn't sound right. And I agree with you. When we switched over to FM, there was so much more noise in the background, and the audio wasn't as crystal clear. So I think it takes a little bit to get used to, but once you have it for a while and once you get used to it, you start to expect it, I think. AJ17.
Yeah, Roger, that's certainly true. And by the way, I don't know if you heard, but HRO is now selling those FT70s for $159. So I think you're going to see a whole bunch more showing up.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a nice entry level. But you and I have also talked that the price of the Fusion equipment, meaning if you're out there shopping for a dual band radio and compare it to the Fusion dual band radios, meaning that you go look at ICOM or Kenwood and look at their absolute top of the line radio, compare it to the 400. Then you look for their dual receive dual band radio, not the single band, but if you look for the dual band dual receive, they still pull a pretty good price. Now when you step down to the single receiver and dual band, which is what the 100 is, you'll find that all of those prices are very, very comparable. HTs are nice, but John, how many people in the ham community do you know that owns more HTs than they need, and most of them just sit on the shelf and never get used? So it would be nice to just put that money towards a mobile radio and you'll be a lot happier. Back to you, AJ17.
Oh yeah, I already have more HTs than I use, but I want two more. I want something for DMR, and I want the either FT70. But I'd like to see an FT1 because I've heard that they are very accessible for us. Unlike the FT2, which is certainly not. But I don't even know if you can get an FT1s anymore. But I'd like to see one. It's going to be a while before I can afford anything. Right now, the DMR radio I want is $66 on Amazon, so there's a chance I might be able to talk Santa into that one. Anyway, thanks for helping me run this demo, Ron, and we'll let you go for now and catch up with you later. And of course, if we don't catch you Monday, we'll definitely catch you Tuesday on the Fusion Net right here, KD8PC.
But yeah, that's a good point. I don't know if the FT1 is still, I know there's two versions of it too, a black and a silver. Let's see, it looks, I'm going through their list, see, and I'm not seeing it in their list of new items, even though it brings up the page of the old one, which isn't a surprise, that they still support the radio. But is it still for sale? I don't know. Good question. I know that the FT1 and the FT2 was for sale together for a while, but you're right. It may be discontinued. And yeah, that's an interesting thing. That, yeah, if we keep moving towards touch screens, that makes it a lot more difficult for you guys, and most of us don't even think about that. We just think that it's the latest and greatest, and it's pretty cool, I guess. All right, John, nice talking to you. Good deal with your demo, and hope it works out good for you. Back to you, AJ17.
It would be nice if all these companies could take a page from Apple and Android and incorporate a screen reader. And of course, Kenwood's done that with the radio that I have. Got to get my head in Kenwood mode. THD74A. So the next best thing, it's called Voice Guide, and it's not a chip you have to install like Kenwood mobile radios. It's already there. You just turn it on, and it just about everything speaks. It's not very friendly in D-Star mode, I'll tell you that. But other than that, I love the radio just for an analog HT. I didn't buy it for its D-Star capability, but I have it and I can use it. Supposedly, I haven't made a contact on D-Star yet, but supposedly I'm working in D-Star now. So, all right. And then, of course, there's hotspots, and a lot of people are getting them. And eventually, I do want to get a hotspot, but that's, again, down the road financially. But now that I have a gig, some more things may become possible. Who knows? Catch you later. AJ7T. Thanks again, KD8PC. So there you go. A little more demo. I think I've done all I can do. The demo is probably longer than it should be, but I hope you've enjoyed it. And